This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, register and attend one of our incredible networking meetings. We meet the 1st through the 4th Tuesday at the Whole Foods in Newtown Square. We meet the 1st through the 4th Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Mark Gambol of MG Pictures Limited. Mark, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Shane. Good to be here.
Great to have you. What is MG Pictures Limited?
MG Pictures Limited is my own small video production company. I started it in 2001 when I went freelance from another company I was with for about six and a half years. It was something I never even thought I wanted to do, but I was kind of forced into it, and I have loved it ever since. And I've worked in so many different genres and projects over the years: reality TV, corporate, nonprofit, sports, news, medical, educational. It's a great mix of things. And, I just keep trying to grow it a little bit every year with new clients and projects.
The work that you do, how did you get started on finding this is your passion?
I never wanted to sit behind a desk, ever. And my first major was architecture, and I didn't like it. And so I switched back into communications and went to Penn State. Went through there. It was a very small program at the time. And I interned at Channel 6 for a semester. I came home and went there and met the people that ended up hiring me when I got out of school. I just started answering phones, and I just loved it, everything about it, even answering the phones and packing up gear for the other people who were freelancers and learning about what they did. And I learned sound, and I learned to shoot and camera work. And then when I went freelance, it really was, I had 6 years under my belt already. So finding clients, I already had a few out there that would hire me, and off it went. I haven't looked back. I love everything about freelancing. I love being out doing things. I hate sitting at home, not working. I would work probably 365 days a year if I could, because I just enjoy it so much. And meeting the people and the different topics we get to cover and different subjects we get to learn about. It's fantastic.
The work that you do with your freelance, the work that you do with MG Pictures Limited, talk about some of those clients, some of those businesses that you work with.
For the past 15 years, a colleague and I have really been focusing a lot on nonprofit work. That's where he wanted to go. So I jumped on board, said, let's do it. So we've covered all sorts of nonprofits, schools, hospitals, alcohol rehabilitation programs, things like that. Early on, I did a lot of reality TV. I was doing everything that was on TLC: Trading Spaces, dating stories, wedding stories, makeover stories, home design shows, anything. I was on it all over the country for a while. I don't miss the reality side as much for that. Some home shows can be fun, but there hasn't been anything, if I've gotten called, that I really want to work on. So fortunately, I've been able to turn some of those down. A new project that I just jumped on with somebody, they called me, I haven't heard from in a while. We're going to be filming a kidney transplant on Monday. So that's kind of
Awesome.
cool. So I get a varied mix of things. Today I'm doing something with Maria Shriver and her book. She has a new book coming out. So I'm just helping the company, and I'm doing camera work. It's not me. It's not my company. And then come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm working for another organization doing a photo shoot for 3 days. And then Monday we do kidney transplant and
As,
installation. Yeah. So it's kind of a fun job. It's all over the place, all over the place.
as people consider you to have them help with their videographer or all the work that you do, what is it that you would say this is what you should be looking for? This is what you should consider when hiring MG Pictures Limited.
When I get hired as MG Pictures, not just as a camera op or a director of photography for someone else's production, which, happens plenty. When I'm talking to potential clients for my business, I ask, what's your story? What's the story you want to tell? What is one thing you need to have your audience know about you to get them interested and we start building the relationship from there, the project from there. What do you need to tell? Who do you need to tell it to? What do you need to accomplish through all this? So when they come to me and we talk about that, I try to tell them, well, one of the new things I'm talking to people about is that I've come up with, or maybe I didn't come up with it, is every business, every corporation, every organization is its own media company now. And you have to start thinking like that. Not everything is going to be on national television or broadcast or streamer, but it's going to be on your website, your Instagram, your TikTok. You have to think about yourself as a media company to reach your viewers, your followers, your donors, your participants, your employees. So that's something that I'm trying to help people understand a little bit more. And by no means am I a social media wizard, but I do know how to tell a story. And the people that I bring to help me with that, my editors or some other writers, we all, contribute to helping that group or organization tell their story. And that's the most important thing.
Beyond that one little nugget of opportunity, and that's a great point, that for when we look at our story as you shared, yeah, we are all out there. People consume our content, and we need to be aware of how that is presented, how that we are received. What are some of those other areas that you believe that sets you apart, Mark, from other companies?
I think it's experience and empathy, maybe some sympathy, but I think empathy is more important, that you can put yourself into that person's spot. Um, that's how we approach everything. I want to know more about you. I want to learn about you. I want to learn about your product or what you're doing. I want to know how it helps other people so we can help you tell that story. I think that's what it comes down to, is a lot is empathy, is understanding what that person needs or what they're feeling and what they need to deal with. So I do tend to put myself into that person's shoes a lot. I like to ask questions about them. I like to sit there and listen during an interview instead of talk. I want to know what you have. I want to know why I want to feel this way. I want people to understand that when I come to that, they're hiring someone that does have almost 30 years of experience. And they also I'm in touch with different technologies or different ways to get your story across, but also to keep your experience simple. It doesn't have to get complicated to tell your story. It doesn't have to be tens upon thousands of dollars in a budget. We can get it done for different levels for what you need. So I try to come as it as a small business to even a large business. Hey, I'm here to help you. And I think that comes through.
As you've developed your craft, what's the best advice that you were given?
I someone asked me that a little while ago, and I honestly I'm not sure I was ever given a great piece of advice. Um, and it's weird because I really sat there and tried to think about it. But my two mentors, I know they gave me great advice in there somewhere, or a great experience to learn from them, and that's almost being in their shoes. My first internship was on at Channel 6, and my mentor, Chloe Beal, she would take me. She was the executive producer on a show called Visions, and it was a minority focused public affairs show. And she brought me into that and opened my eyes to a whole nother world of people that I didn't know growing up in the suburbs. And my upbringing was wasn't any fault of anyone. It's just you didn't get into that world yet. But at age 21 or 2, whole new world opened up. So that, in a way, is a not even advice, but just that experience that I needed. And then I think as I look, like, who gave me some advice here? And I'm trying to think, but what I always tell people is learn what not to do. That's my best piece of advice that I give to people. If you're on set or you're on a production, you see something that just doesn't work, well, don't do that. Put it in your book, like, yeah, that didn't work. Let me figure out this. What didn't work? What did work? That's what I do. That's the main piece of advice I give to everybody, is learn what not to do. And if you're in college, go do an internship.
You talk about previous mentors, people that have impacted you. Who motivates you? Who inspires you?
Oh, who inspires me? That's a good question. Um, Boy, that I don't know. I mean, I watch a lot of movies with a lot of big directors of photography on there, and I follow them. I enjoy that. I find some motivation watching other people tell stories. I have other colleagues who I work with who are fantastic at what they do, so I enjoy seeing what they're doing and get motivated by what they shoot or how they shoot something. So I pick up little things here and there just watching Instagram or their stories or whatever they're doing. I think that's where I get a lot of inspiration from. I don't necessarily go out and search for it. It just kind of comes across my plate and, oh, that's interesting. Let me file that away. That's interesting. Let me file that away and how they do that. But as like searching directly for someone, I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and probably the biggest one is Team Deacons, and it's all about the director of photography, um, and his work is amazing. He's probably considered the #1 director of photography in the world right now. He's fantastic. And it's just fun to hear him talk with all his guests from across the field. He started the podcast during the pandemic because they had nothing to do. So I've learned a lot from that. So I would say that's one place I really go to find some inspiration or direction, maybe just to find something new. So yeah, that might be the biggest and best spot that I go for that.
You have a full-length motion picture that you've produced, directed, and written, and you wore a lot of hats. How's that coming along with just putting it all together? We saw the big premiere. What's happening with that?
Yeah, that premiere was 1 year ago, almost to the day. Actually, yeah, it was the other day. It's still sitting there in limbo, unfortunately. I decided I couldn't put any more of my money into it, so I've just kind of been looking around and seeing what I could find, just to find someone to or some people to invest in it a little bit to tighten it up, put some new graphics in, and maybe a little bit of a little different edit. But it's just sitting there in limbo. Another colleague got it in front of some people, and then they disappeared. Another colleague I call who has a lot of success with docs doesn't get back to me. So it's a hard field when you do that. You know, you got to get out there and you really beat the pavement. And sometimes I'm just not good at doing that. So I ask around. And so it's a slow process. But yeah, it's a full-length documentary sitting there, and it had great reviews. Everyone who saw it seemed to love it. And I still have friends talking about it. So will it ever get out? I don't know, but maybe I'll just have to put it onto my own YouTube channel and let people find it that way and see what happens.
Release the Kraken.
Fight the Kraken.
Fight the Kraken.
Fight the Kraken. Yeah, Release the Kraken is from the Clash of the Titans in 1981 or whatever that was. But yeah, this is Fight the Kraken.
Fight the Kraken, to me, still inspired me to want to do hard things. And I think people need to see it as a human interest story, as overcoming challenges, adversity. Your experience, I think, in a lot of ways with doing reality television really helps to set that stage for people to really get into the emotion of what was really accomplished in this movie. So I hope that more people get to see it.
Yeah, so do I. It's a really great one. You know, Vicky and Meg, the two subjects of the film, did a great job. They were amazing, and two amazing athletes. So yeah, it just sometimes it takes time. Maybe it just waits till the right moment for it to pop up or someone. So I keep putting it in front of people to see if I can get some a bite here or there, and hopefully it happens at some point. If not, I'll have to just put it on my own YouTube channel somewhere and let people watch it, and maybe it builds up a following that way.
Like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, it becomes more after the fact, right?
Yeah, we'll play it every Friday night at midnight.
We all dress up as our favorite character, and
yeah, of the two characters you can dress up as, exactly.
Mark, how do people connect with you? How do they reach out to you and MG Pictures Limited to start the conversation and get you telling their story?
They can find me online, mgpictures.com, mg-pictures.com. My Instagram is just Mark Gambol. My LinkedIn is just Mark Gambol. It's just easier to find me that way. And then I get a lot of referrals if someone knows, and I get bounced over to somebody that way too. But those are the primary ways that I get people can find me. I have a listing on IMDb of a bunch of credits that are on there. They're not all accurate, which is kind of funny, but I am on IMDb. some working on some other projects. So that's kind of how it happens is website, word of mouth, referral. And that's the easiest way. And through Delco Meets for Business, of course.
And if people want to make sure they get that spelling right, it's Gambol.
Correct. Yep. Yep. That's how it is. And then mg-pictures.com.
Mark, you're heading to a shoot, ready to do some videography work, and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you stopping?
I am going to go to, in 3 weeks, I'll be going to Gambol's Big G Cafe because we're going to have an absolutely outstanding cheesesteak and new sandwich menu at the bar. So that's where I'll be going. But if I had to go somewhere else these days, that's a tough one. Angelo's is pretty darn good. And Donkey's over in Jersey is still outstanding.
How about for pizza? Where are you going for pizza?
Pizza, I'm going out to Westchester Pizza Cafe. It's worth the 45-minute drive. It's
You're leaving Delco and you're going for pizza in Westchester.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, when I want to really hit that taste, I go out the Westchester Pizza Cafe. It's right by the campus. It's absolutely outstanding. Now, in Delco, I'll go to Rise Pizza sometimes. Those guys are fantastic. I actually had Pinocchio's the other night for the first time in a while, and I actually hit the spot, so that was nice. But the two best pizza places in the country are Serious Pie in Seattle and Pizzeria Mozza in LA.
We're going and satisfying a lot of places for cravings for pizza. What do you like on your pizza?
Oh yeah. If I go to Westchester Pizza Cafe, get the margarita and have them add their pepperoni to it. It's outstanding.
Nice.
Absolutely. And then, if I have to, a little pepperoni and pineapple on my pizza.
Not the chicken and pineapple, huh?
Oh, no, it doesn't need that. It needs that salt and it needs that sweet. It needs that combination of cheese and salt and sweetness. And yeah, and a lot of people don't like that, but I love it.
I'm waiting to see somebody throw mango on a pizza. See how that goes over.
I'll do it. That sounds good to me.
You have a convenience store need? Where are you stopping? Wawa or Royal Farms?
I'll stop at Wawa at a convenience. Yeah, there's a nice little deli at the top of my street that I hit to after the gym some days. Travers Market. I think they've been here for ages as well in Delco. So I'll go up there and get a good sandwich too.
Mark, you're out and about in the world. How do you describe Delco to someone who's never heard of Delco before or has never been here?
Delco is an attitude. You got upper Delco, mid Delco, and lower Delco. Depends where you come from, in the tracks. But Delco is southeastern Pennsylvania. It's all of that. I think it even includes Jersey at some point. It just has this great reach that everyone knows Delco. Delco's a cool place. I mean, I've grown up here. I was born here in 1971, and I only left when I went and lived in Montgomery County for a little while, and I lived at Penn State for a while, but Delco's always been home. So that's another good way. You can always come back to Delco and feel, and it still feels good. Media feels good. The surrounding areas all feel good. A little more crowded, but that's okay. But I've been to a lot of places in the country and the world, and Delco has its certain ring to it, I guess, a certain je ne sais quoi, if I can. There's an attitude here.
There's a lot of conversation about moving borders for elections and gerrymandering and something like that. I've never heard it said that Delco has bled into South Jersey before. So that's kind of interesting.
It does, man. It has a reach. Everyone who leaves Delco comes back and they take it with them. So friends that have been in Jersey, they're all part of Delco. It spreads. It goes out and it creates its own little worlds. It just keeps growing wherever it goes. People are proud to be from Delco.
Yeah, friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Definitely there's always good, depending on the time of year. You got in media, you've got, Dining Under the Stars, which is nice. And then you can head out to, everywhere. Ridley Park, the bike path. There's a lot of great little places that go that are Delco. All the little towns just kind of, blend together. You could drive 5 minutes and you've gone through 4 different towns before you know it. So it's all one big happy place to go. I would take people to different restaurants or spots to do things. I think that's what's cool about it.
And then you videotape the experience and share it so they can tell their story.
Tell their story. That's it. Tell their story to everyone else. Here's what I did in my day in Delco.
I imagine you're going to end up at Gambol's, and perhaps Tommy Conwell will be playing that night, and the place will be packed. Lots of laughs, lots of singing, and maybe that's how you'll wrap up your tour of Delco.
That's where it should start. Yeah, and he'll actually be back September 12th. We're looking forward to it already. Yeah. That'd be great. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's Gamble's is a good place to go. Hey, we've been there since 1949, so we are a Delco original, I'd like to think.
Mark, is there anything we haven't talked about on the podcast today? Anything you want listeners to know more about you or MG Pictures Limited?
No, I don't think so. If you're looking for video, don't be afraid to do it. Just do it and do it well. People know when you're giving them something lousy, whether it sounds bad or it looks bad. People are pretty savvy when they turn their TV on. They get great pictures and great sound, and they're affected by it. So that's important in telling your story if you're going to be your own media company, which everybody is. You want it to sound good. You want it to look good. You want it to tell your story. That's what I would tell people. Like, don't be afraid to tell it. Share it. Share your story. Tell your story. Get it out there. Somebody wants to hear it. We all have something interesting to say, and we're all pretty interesting if you just give yourself a chance.
We need a professional, though. We need somebody that can help us listen and help tell that story. And that's what you're all about, that level of experience, shortcuts to get to where we want to go faster. And that's one of those things that you bring to the table. Thanks for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. We can't wait to see more of your work out there in the media world, and look forward to seeing you at Delco Meets for Business at a meeting coming up soon.
I'll be there.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Rich. Have a good one.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.